And now they're faced with a very real prospect of Donald Trump becoming the leader of the party, and it absolutely drives them crazy. They just cannot imagine sharing. Well, because he's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. He's uncontrollable. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society. And I think that they don't see him.
With Beyonce and Jay-Z headlining the event, the Hillary Clinton campaign held a Get Out the Vote rally in Cleveland, Ohio on Friday night, calling on all stars.
Vision for our future and embrace a hopeful, inclusive, unifying America.
It's homecoming weekend at UNO, which traditionally means the homecoming king and queen crowned at tonight's hockey game. But this year, things are changing. The king and queen dethroned, seemingly by popular demand.
In addition to that, we have been discouraging the use of honorifics in our system. So instead of saying Miss or Mr. and potentially making a mistake, when greeting a person, just ask them their name and ask them what pronoun they would like you to use.
Now, if you find yourself in Sydney, Australia this week, you have the unique opportunity to have sex with the earth. Yeah, that's right. You just need to stop by the Ecosexual Bathhouse, which is currently part of the Sydney Liveworks Festival. Now, Jennifer Reed, a PhD candidate in sociology at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, says that they might be right, and she's writing a dissertation on ecosexuality and says that the number of people who identify as ecosexuals has increased markedly in the past 2 years. We've got 57-year-old men that, identify as a 7-year-old female, and we're okay with that. We say that's normal and okay. This is why I said we're done. As a society, we're finished.
What is WikiLeaks doing? Are they trying to put Trump in the White House?
Trump would not be permitted to win. Banks, intelligence, arms companies,
well, they all want him
beat, foreign money, etc.
Yeah,
is all united behind Hillary Clinton, and the media as well. So media owners and even journalists themselves. There's an early 2014 email from Hillary Clinton, so not so long after she left Secretary of State, to her campaign manager, John Podesta. That email, it states that ISIS, is funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, the governments of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Now, this is I think this is the most significant email in the whole collection.
ISIL or ISIS is created largely with money from the very people who are giving money to the Clinton Foundation.
Yes.
That's extraordinary.
A cluster of polio-like illness in children is under investigation in Washington state.
For us to have a cluster of 9 that could be potentially AFM, it's very concerning to me.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says as of September, 89 people in 33 states were confirmed to have AFM this year. That's up from 21 cases last year, and the exact cause is unclear.
In your health headlines tonight, 13 people have been sickened by a rare fungal infection never before seen in the U.S.
Here's a news article. Well, first, let me tell you this. Normally, scientifically, you only get like one supermoon every year in a couple of months. It so happens this year we have 3 supermoons in a row. There's one in October, there's one in November, and there's one in December. But the one in November is the super duper moon. Okay? What is meant by a supermoon? A supermoon is when it is a full moon, okay? And it's at its closest point to Earth. If it's a full moon and it's at apogee, if it's far away, that doesn't make as much of a difference if it's at perigee. If it's at its closest point to Earth and it's a full moon, now it looks really big because it's closer, right? Okay. It says we're about to see a record-breaking supermoon, the biggest, like I said, in nearly how many years? It's the closest full moon in this century. Now look at this next paragraph. If you only see one astronomical event this year, make it the November supermoon, when the moon will be the closest to its Earth since it's been, since January, what year? Wow. 70 years, right before Israel becomes a nation. Here we have these 3 super moons in a row. All right, the biggest one is just in a week and a half. On Monday night, November 14th. It says here at the bottom that it won't happen again until November of 2034.
If winter is your thing and you often hear yourself saying the colder the better, we have some good news for you. Research suggests that winters may be getting colder around here.
Global temperatures are warming, but that could mean colder winters here in the Northeast.
There are profound changes underway in the Arctic.
New Jersey state climatologist Dr. Dave Robinson says Arctic sea ice is lower than he ever thought he'd see in his lifetime. This time lapse from NASA shows the extent of melting from the 1980s till now. Research released in Nature Climate Change suggests there's a link between the disappearance of Arctic ice and a shift in the position of the dreaded polar vortex.
Now villages in Tajikistan's Pamir Mountains are facing a new kind of threat.
The climate is slowly changing. It's getting hotter, and the glaciers on Labnazar and Fedchenko are melting faster.
The Labnazar Glacier looms over Savnov village. Waters from mountain glaciers allowed people to settle here and farm the land. But weather patterns have changed, making it harder to plan for the sowing season.
Birds are coming later. During harvesting, we had problem with birds which are eating. Now we have no problem because it's changing climate. We earlier plant and we early also get at the harvest.
They say warmer temperatures have also increased outbreaks of fungal diseases in their crops. But it's the melting glaciers that are of most concern. This is one of the newest lakes in Tajikistan. It was formed last July when a mud flow caused by glacial melt swept across a valley and blocked the Gund River, creating a natural dam that submerged homes and a portion of the M41, better known as the Pamir Highway. Waves of water carrying glacial sludge came crashing down the valley. Glaciers across Central Asia are melting at an alarming rate. Tajikistan itself may lose up to 30% more of its glaciers by 2050.
I don't know if it is possible to compare it to small island countries which will be affected by sea level rise. I mean, Tajikistan will obviously not completely disappear, but since this region is highly dependent on the water coming from Tajikistan, it will be severely affected.
World leaders agreed at last year's Paris climate talks to cap emissions and keep global temperature rises below 2 degrees Celsius. But people living on the front line of climate change are not celebrating yet, preparing instead for the next surprise in their changing environment.
Context for understanding this trend towards increasingly devastating tropical storms and hurricanes. Matthew is a very good example of a storm that was unique, unprecedented in certain respects. It intensified far more quickly than any other storm that we've seen in modern history.